Now, our next guest has spent more than 4 decades in the public eye, becoming a best-selling author, global humanitarian, film producer, and now a grandmother.
Yes, she's been a writer for many years, releasing her memoirs alongside countless children's books. But this week, she's released her debut novel, Her Heart for a Compass. Sarah, Duchess of York, joins us on the line. A very good morning to you, Sarah.
Good morning, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to talk to you. It's just lovely. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, it's a real pleasure to speak to you here on Ireland AM this morning, Sarah. You have written 25 books, but would it be fair to say this is completely you in terms of it being, you're liberated, there's a freedom attached to this novel, Sarah?
Well, Anna, you're absolutely right. Beatrice yesterday said to me, Mum, it's pretty exciting that it's not about anyone else, it's just about you did this on your own. And so at 61, to suddenly sort of have your first-time novel as a writer, it's pretty exciting. It's really going into a new career for me at 61 years old. So, yes, we can do it.
You can, and you certainly have done it with this. The heart of Her Heart for a Compass is what the book is called. Let's talk about where the idea from the book came from, Sarah, and the seed of the book, because you've always stated that you're very passionate about historical research, and it was through researching your own ancestry that you came across this particular person. Tell us about her.
Oh, well, Simon, thank you. Yes, about 15 years ago, I decided that I wanted to bring Lady Margaret alive. I think that it's very important that we bring the voice of silent whispers of women that have really done so many things. This is set in 1865, 1870, and Lady Margaret did actually exist. But I've fictionalized her. But she is my ancestor with very, very red hair, very, very courageous and fiery and volatile. And but Simon, I just wanted to quickly say, you know, the whole thing about this is in my research. I went, of course, to my paternal grandmother in Scotland, and then my maternal grandmother from Powerscourt in Southern Ireland, which is where my grandmother is buried. And of course, her mother was Viscountess Powerscourt. And so, look, I always have Powerscourt close to my heart.
Wow.
See, here we have it.
This is lovely. Powerscourt in Wicklow.
Yes, and also, Anna and Simon, the whole thing about Lady Margaret, of course, there are many parallels with me and Lady Margaret, just to let you know. But of course, she would go to Scotland and then to London. And then when she got it all wrong, she went off to Ireland. And that's when the Irish people embraced her, and people at Powerscourt. She stayed at Powerscourt with the beautiful gardens. And then from there, she went to Dublin and then to New York, which is very much where, you know, the route that I took, because it was Robert Splain and the Kinsale people and Belgooly and show jumping and all the Splain family, hello. And it was the Irish people that really got my centre back and my core back. So Sarah, I'm really very, very supportive.
Sarah, when you talk about there being parallels between yourself and Lady Margaret, if I could, with your permission, I might just read aloud the dedication, because I think this is beautiful. You say, this book is dedicated to my beautiful girls who have all the strength and courage of Lady Margaret. They too have followed their hearts and live life on their own terms. This book is for you, Beatrice and Eugenie, with all my love. So I'd imagine that's a very touching dedication, but I'd imagine there aren't just parallels between her and you, but with your daughters as well.
Yes, well, I took a long time to be able to talk very openly about Sarah. And you know, when you go through a lot of mental pressure, being in the public eye, and you go through and of course, you know full well, Simon, that the British press hasn't been the kindest. No. and so you then believe it. You know, the Duchess of Pork headline. You suddenly think, well, maybe I am, and then you go and eat like for centuries, and then you have, you know, real problems mentally on having confidence. So what I said to the girls was, look, I've taken many different roads. I've taken very many journeys which are wrong journeys or right journeys. But what I want to do is talk openly to you, so you don't have to make the same, you know, different journeys that I've made.
Well, we're looking at footage of your beautiful girls, Eugenie and Beatrice, Sarah, as we chat to you. I wondered, Sarah, you know, we in Ireland are very lucky. We don't have that UK press scrutiny. We often talk about it here, and we've guests who talk about the scrutiny that they're under in terms of the paparazzi and, you know, that kind of constant watching your every move. And as you say, those awful headlines that you have to put up with for so many years. I saw an interview that you did with one of the US channels, and you called yourself Anglo-American because would it be fair to say when you got to America, you had a sense of freedom at that point?
Well, I think this. I call myself Anglo-American in that interview, quite right. But if I was talking to you, I'd call myself Anglo-Irish because I am, and I can actually.
You're pandering
because of my I'm pandering big time, big time.
Continue.
But actually, when I go to Italy, I say, "Hey, I'm Sarah. I'm Anglo-Italian." It's fine. I mean, one has to be a chameleon, don't we? Anyway, but
absolutely,
but there's no question about it. What I've gathered from doing these interviews and talking to you is letting that sense of heart come out in myself. So you are talking to me now, Anna. You know, you're not talking to someone saying, hello, and my name's Sarah, and I'm doing this. No, I'm talking to you. It's a real conversation. And to have that freedom, it was given to me by the people of America. I started in Ireland, as I've written in my book, and then to America, and then also to Italy, actually. So all those three countries have given me that sense of being myself. Yeah. Yes, the sense of freedom.
We mentioned in the introduction, Sarah, that you've worn many hats, and one that you donned recently was that of a grandmother. So tell us about what that has brought to your life.
You know what, Simon? You're so funny. I have to learn about diggers and tractors and trains.
Yeah.
and it's really serious. Because when my girls were growing up, I didn't let them play with the Barbie houses. I did it. I wanted to build the caravan and the stables and make it all perfect. And then they came along and played with it. But now I've got to get into trains. Yeah. But I did say that the other day, Simon. I said, but even if he might not want to do trains, if he doesn't want to do trains and he wants to do Barbies, that's fine with me. We just get on with it.
Exactly. You're ready for anything. Sarah, it ties in nicely with the stories you've been doing on YouTube as well.
Oh, do you know I love you too? I'm coming on. Can I come and sit?
Yes, you can. You can sit right here between the two of us.
Okay, good. But a nice cup of tea. I like a nice cup of tea.
Exactly.
But then I did work Waterford, Wedgwood for 8 years. Hello, the O'Reilly family, love you. But just quickly, Anna and Simon, can I just say, what was your question? Oh, yes, story time. Yes, I decided that there are children all over the world in hospitals during the pandemic where we were all so challenged. And it wasn't just hospitals, it was care centres or anywhere. They could, for free, go on YouTube and download. It was like Jack and Ori meets Blue Peter, really. And so I decided to do it at my home. And it was very home filmed. And of course, my poor dog looks absolutely bored stiff with that.
He's not a great audience, in fairness, is he?
He's certainly not. But you see, it was really fun to do. It took me half an hour every day, and I loved it. And I still do it because it makes me get away from my own self and be able to give to children, and which is my favourite thing to do.
Well, that's called...
I am the perfect grandmother.
Well, that's called, to quote my profession, that's called being an actor. I think there's a frustrated actor in there, Sarah, because in some of the stories, you get very animated.
Yes, I do get very animated. And what I like is when they said, would you like to go on MasterChef? And I said, MasterChef? I wouldn't even know I couldn't even find the kitchen. I hate cooking. But I think it's quite fun to be able to say that. Anyway, so on story time, I try and make sort of a teddy bear into a sandwich, and it all goes on the floor, and children love it and think it's so funny.
It's a brilliant experience for your grandparenting duties. Can we ask you, before we run out of time, Sarah, we talked about your humanitarian work and the tons of charity work that you have done. Quite incredible. The other person that we often refer to around all of that humanitarian work was, of course, your late great friend, Diana. Can we ask you about her before we finish up our chat this morning?
Yes, of course. The secret about Diana was she brought me into the family. We'd been friends from 14. She was 14. I was 16. And when she got married, she invited me to Windsor Castle and said, "Come on, Fergs, come and have lunch." And then after lunch, I sat next door to Andrew. And when And when after lunch I went up to her and said, "Oh, he's good looking," and she went, "Duh, Fergs, of course. Come on, get on with it." She had a tinkling laughter, and I'm sorry, but it's just that she's always in my heart, and it doesn't matter what. It doesn't really matter what. Anyone says, she will stay there in my heart. And every day I have a laugh with her and I talk to her, and she was a great philanthropist. And she taught me at the very beginning. I kept saying to her, "How do you manage to talk to all these extraordinary people in one room?" And she taught me, she taught me to be able to, how to do it.
Well, you're not alone, Sarah. She's in a lot of people's hearts, millions and millions and millions of people's hearts every day. Can I very quickly ask before we finish, is there plans for a sequel, dare I ask?
Yes, I've signed the contract. I'm on book chapter 3. Chapter 3, she's coming through.
Very good.
And also Simon, quickly, I know we've run out of time, but Simon, just to say, I think I should act in my TV series of the film I'm going to make about it.
Well, that's wonderful. As long as I have a part in it, Sarah, I should be there by your side, my dear.
Sarah, Duchess of York, it has been a pleasure to have you on the show this morning. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we look forward to having you on the couch next time.
Bye, Sarah. Lots of love.
Bye. Lots of love. Thank you very much, everybody in Ireland.
Thank you, Sarah.
A pleasure. A quick reminder that the Duchess of York's book, Her Heart for a Compass, is available now online and in all good bookshops nationwide.
She's a cool girl, isn't she?
A bit of crack.
Yeah, right. We're at the catwalk next. Don't go anywhere.